we will have a small crowd this morning, but that's okay. Y'all get to hear everything. So I appreciate you all signing up. But I like to at least, if you can, show your face, introduce yourself, how'd you hear about us, and your background and where you're from. Dr. T, Dr. T.
Good morning,
Um,
uh, Dr. Janelle Park. I am
okay.
joining just to learn more about the services that you provide. I was referred to you by Lyndon Jackson through Operation Hope. And I am the co-founder and COO of Stellaverse Consulting Firm, where
Mhm.
we implement electronic health records and we provide project management for IT projects as well as leadership development and optimization of workflows for physician practices and community health centers.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Kervin, please introduce yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Sorry, I have the little one with me. Yes, my name is Kervin Simon. I work for the federal government as a HR specialist. I was referred by my mentor, Kevin McKnight, because I am extremely brand new to this, but I've heard of, uh, government procurement. I've heard great things, but it's still one of those things where it eludes me on the exact details. And of course, as we all know, knowledge is power. So, I got the little one, and I'm mainly thinking of him right now. So, like of his future. So I'm anything that could better our family.
Very good. Very good. And that is my why too. Your child, your grandchildren that we don't even know anything about. So thank you, Kervin. Miss Shelton, please introduce yourself. You're the only brave one to put your face on this camera this morning, so I appreciate it.
Good morning,
Good
Miss
morning.
Watts. I am Kelly Shelton. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a corporate event planner, and so I have won my first contract in Florida to prevent DJ services for the county school districts for their special events at the school, the proms, the homecomings, and so that was just recently. So I'm excited about that
Good.
and just wanted to learn more about the procurement process and how I can be awarded more event planning contracts.
We're not gonna pigeonhole yourself by the time you're through with this. We're gonna change your mindset. All
Okay,
right.
I'm open to that.
Okay. Who's on the iPhone? I have someone on the iPhone. Hello. Can you, okay. Britt, while we're waiting on the iPhone person. Britt, can you introduce yourself? Britt, y'all just ignoring me this morning.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, my name is Brittany, and I own a cleaning company, residential and commercial. Uh, oh, okay. I got interested in obtaining contracts locally and government on a government basis scale. I was referred to this course by Beret.
Okay. And where you located?
I'm located in Atlanta.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Katisha. Katisha.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good
Introduce yourself.
morning.
Um,
So,
background. How'd you hear about us? Where you located?
so my name is Katisha Benjamin. I'm a medical librarian. I'm located in Colorado, and I've been hearing about government contracts and would like to learn more.
Okay. And how'd you hear about us?
I actually saw Malik Yoba share your information.
Okay. All right. Yes, he went through it. He's a full-fledged alumni and we have 1, 2 contracts.
Yes.
So very good. Thank you. D. Moultrie. D. Moultrie. N. Turner. Good. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this. I would encourage everyone to put your information in the chat. We're all about collaboration and understanding the power collectively. This is one contract, and you never know who might be your next business partner. I also want to introduce my lovely team member, Dina Estelle Williams, who's the voice and making sure everything is moving, and you always will hear from her. So thank you, Dina. Welcome this morning.
Welcome, welcome everyone. It's a super sensational Saturday. Let's get all of this information, take notes, ask questions. It's engaging and it's very informative.
Yes. All right, everyone. I'm getting
You
ready.
all are here. Let's get started.
Let's get started. Let's get the party started.
That's right. We're going to church, by the way. So it's
Yes,
okay to say amen.
Amen. I want to hear some amen because I want to make sure that the church hears me. Okay. All right. We are government procurement innovators, and we love creating millionaires. We love building generational wealth through federal procurement. What I will always ask all of us is, are you prepared? And I will consistently say, what I've seen with this administration, I've never seen before in my many years in government procurement, meaning this administration has specifically issued executive orders requesting that these agencies increase the contract awards to Black-owned businesses. They're looking for that increase to go up to 15%, and now they're beginning to track those dollars. What I will also consistently say, the administration and these agencies can create all these vehicles, create all of this information, vehicles, but we're not prepared. And you'll understand as I go through this PowerPoint, meaning we don't have our ducks in order to even begin to compete. Because we don't understand the rules of engagement. So somebody put in the chat, you have to understand the game to play the game. Have to understand the game to play the game.
Amen.
Right now, for me, if you're in this entrepreneurship space, it's important that you understand what your why is, because your why is what's going to keep you going. Your why is going to help you to set those end goals of where you want to go. And the reason my why is my father. My father was one of the first Black police officers in my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina. He ended up having to sue the police department based on discrimination. He won. He ended up retiring and running for city councilman, and he won. While he was a city councilman, he ended up identifying land by the projects where he felt those kids needed a park. So he was able to get funding, and now we have a park in his name and in his honor. So for me, we all stand on tall shoulders. And for me, it's more about community. It's more about us understanding how to collectively come together and get what our ancestors never had the opportunity to have. And we have so much more than they ever even thought about having. So I know my assignment. You have to determine what is your assignment. I always like to open up with my background. Again, originally I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, I went to the big city of Washington, D.C. And my first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. By a show of hands, can you all let me know if you heard of the 8A program? And if not, we're going to go into more depth about this program. My first job was with a company in the 8A program doing event planning. I ended up, not only was I doing event planning on a government contracts, I started sitting in the meetings and beginning to understand really how the government function and how the money flows. I strategically positioned myself to make sure I kept a job. So every 3 years, I attached myself to this one contract, and every 3 years, I went to a new company that was a part of that program. Whereas I went through 6 companies on that one contract before I decided to cut out the middleman and start my own business. My first year in business in 1996, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year, I applied into the 8A program, received another $3 million contract, and quickly grew the business to close to $15 million in contract and almost 40 employees. And that's where my challenge began because I really had no clue what I was doing. I was winning millions of dollars a contract, didn't understand operations, didn't understand the infrastructure. I had 2 partners, one who was crazy. He felt like he could run all of his personal expenses through the business. I ended up having my assistant to do an audit on his account. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. Mm. I end up terminating him. He then conspired with 2 employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 of attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I had no more operating cash. So I transferred $7 million of my contract to another 8A firm and closed the business in 2005. But it really pushed me to my passion because I realized no one was training small businesses how to start a business and grow that business. I went from a project manager to running a multi-million dollar company and could not even read a profit and loss statement. That's no way to run a business. So I volunteered for 2 years as a SCORE counselor and set up their government workshops and training programs. That was in the DC office. After 2 years there, ran out of money, applied for a position with SBA. I was hired in the Philadelphia district office, and that office was the office that actually processed the applications for those trying to get into the 8A program. My job was to service the businesses once they got into the program. After 4 years in Philadelphia, wanted to relocate here to get closer to home. While I was in this Atlanta district office, I came here in 2012, we were required to become certified as contract specialists. And for me, that was the missing piece. Meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I understood SBA's operations, but I wasn't quite sure what steps the agencies took to actually put that solicitation out for you to compete on. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, that brought it full circle for me. Trained more than 10,000 businesses on marketing to the federal government and have assisted small businesses to win over 1.5 billion in contracts across various agencies. Can I get an amen for the church? I'm doing my part. Did the church hear that? I don't think you heard that.
Amen.
1.5 billion. Yes, those who are applying it, we are changing the game. I also recently self-published a book called That's Crazy. Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. It somewhat documents the process I went through in that first business. It was just crazy in there. And you just don't know until you're in it. So what are the challenges for small businesses entering in this space? What I saw while working at SBA, people would come to our workshops and they would leave with great information, excited, but they weren't quite sure how to connect the dots. The same thing with the government agencies. No one understood SBA's processes. And what generally happens with SBA is people will come in and say, I want to do federal contracts. SBA will say, great. And they will send you to 5 or 6 of their resource partners. People tend to spend about 6 months going to those resource partners, and they're still at the same spot. The reason why is all information based. And that's what helped me to understand and create this program, because I knew no one was understanding the government language. No one was understanding the processes. The government is assuming you understand what they're talking about. Once you determine what certifications you're eligible for, or what is SBA looking for when you start applying into their programs. Also understanding that the government websites aren't connected. SBA has their website. The main database, which we'll go over, sam.gov, is managed by another agency. So that's what the challenge become for small businesses entering into this space. And for me, it was the main reason I created this program, because I understood, just as my ancestors understood and the slaves understood, if I could just read or write, I can make it better for the future. For me, it's the same thing. If you can understand their language, if you can understand their processes, you're now the game changer for the future. Can I get an amen from the church? You have to understand that yourself. We are the game changers. So based on that, I created this program on my lessons learned and what I saw on the inside of SBA. And the first thing is to not limit your business. We've been trained to start a business on your skill set. Managing a business has nothing to do with your skill set. When I received that first $1 million contract, I was no longer doing event planning. I had employees. And as I started marketing my business, my mentor pulled me aside and said, why are you pigeonholing yourself? And when he said that, it made sense. Based on those 5 or 6 companies that I went through, and I looked at their business model and looked at the ones that were successful. So I changed my business model and created divisions. I had an event planning division, I had an IT division, I had a database division, I had a communication division, because in the end, to create that event, I was working with all these other vendors. So why not just separate it and market those services? And when I started doing that, I started winning contracts in those areas. So take notes. Running and managing a business has nothing to do with your skill set. That's why in the first module of my program, Business Ready, we make everyone start at the same place, regardless if you already have an entity or you've registered in SAM, you've done all the things that SBA has told you to do. I want to make sure that you understand the infrastructure that you're going to need to have a sustainable business. So I created templates from that first business, and I will consistently say you don't have to reinvent the wheel in this space. Just follow the blueprint. It's like building a house. If I've already created the blueprint and it's been successful, you just duplicate it over and over. In this space, we don't have to compete with each other. That's why the second part is all about collaboration. We have no choice but to come together. We've been trained to compete against each other. In this space and in these contracts and in SBA's program, it all requires that we collaborate. So I realize people aren't teaching us how to collaborate. So in the second module in Government Ready, we put you on teams. And at this point, we're the government, because it's important for me for you to understand it's too hard to do this by yourself. If I have everybody coming through the same process, everybody understand the same language, and everyone understand we can use each other in our business. This is how the game works. This is how the contracts work. It's important that we collaborate. When I look at the 17 people online right now, that's a government contract. You get a piece, I get a piece, and everybody get pieces. If we each get a piece, eventually we'll all have a whole pie. Am I making sense to the church this morning? Yes, amen?
Amen.
Amen.
All right, give me some of the church energy as I go through here. Third, you must have infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure, someone? Anybody? What do I mean by infrastructure? Nobody?
Must have
Systems.
a
Go ahead. Go ahead.
must have a model, like pretty much a plan, a blueprint, just like you were stating before.
Part of it.
A system.
Anybody else?
A
A
system.
system, a foundation, moving parts.
Anything else? An attorney and a lawyer. I mean, attorney and an accountant. You heard I got sued. So anytime you have hire an employee, you need to have employment, practice, liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the attorney fees and any settlement with the employees and the partner. Did you all catch that? Employment, practice, liability insurance.
So would Legal Shield be considered a reputable legal side of it?
Be
A reputable
starting out but more importantly, having your insurance. And in this space, because it's a specialized space, I always encourage people from the accounting and the attorney side that you have someone that understands government accounting and the rules and regulations of government contracting. And when you're looking at an attorney and your accounting, that's almost very personable. With Legal Shield, you're going to get whoever. But I want
Right.
somebody that's with me from the beginning that understands me. That my hardest challenge in that first business was the accounting, finding the right accounting. That's how I ended up learning accounting. I hate accounting. And the attorney. I ended up having to fire my original attorney because once the lawsuit hit, before the lawsuit hit, he became too close to the partners. He wasn't representing me or the company. So he had to go. And I had to find someone that was going to look out for the company and my benefit because I was the one that was the majority owner. So that's why I want people to go through this process and understand the rules of engagement before you get into this space. Everyone's always immediately, I just want to get in, I just want to win a contract. Yeah, you get a contract, then what? You need to understand the rules of engagement because if you win that contract and you mess up in this space, guess what? You can't play no more. It's called debarred. So for me, it's important that you understand rules of engagement. So when you look at the federal government operates on a fiscal year. Their fiscal year starts October 1st and goes through September 30th. Right now, we're on a continuing resolution. And what that means is these agencies are operating on a limited funding. They have not been fully funded. They won't be fully funded until Congress passed the budget. For us, there's a disconnect to this process. Up in DC, everybody understood pretty much the game and how the cycle works. And we don't look at our tax dollars as part of these contracts and understand what they're doing with these continuing resolutions. Right now, have anybody been paying any attention to the news? When does this current CR ends? Does anyone know? How long has Congress funded the agencies? Anybody? December 22nd. The government is funding, then the clock goes on. Typically, they should have a whole year, but because they're doing and playing all these politic games, it's been 3 months increments. So what happens for you as a small business? The best time for you to start marketing to those agencies is between now and I would say February or March because the agencies have not received their funding. So they're hosting a lot of industry days. They are really sitting around waiting on the funding. Your goal is to begin to build relationships because by the time that they receive their money, March, let's say it truly starts getting into gear, April, May, they have a short window to get rid of a whole lot of money. And you want to be in the position to understand the game and build those relationships so that when bids start coming out, you're ahead of the game. Why federal contracts? Every year, the federal government set aside contracts for small businesses. SBA negotiate with each agency a goal on how they're going to meet these set-aside goals, meaning 23% of contracts are set aside for small businesses, 5% if you're woman-owned, 5% for small disadvantaged 8A participants. They increased the amount for service disabled veterans and veteran-owned, and 3% for the HUBZone program. And so what that means for you, the more certifications you have, the more you're helping that agency achieve their goal. As an example, if that agency awards a contract to you for $100,000, that agency now gets $100,000 credit towards their goal. If you're a woman-owned and now small business, now that agency gets $200,000 credit towards their goal. So the more certifications you have, the more you're helping the agency achieve their goals. And what happens is each year, SBA will publish where each agency fared as it relates to meeting their goals. And all of this is published. So you can actually see which programs received how much and which agencies achieved or did not achieve their goals. So you can use it as a strategy. So if I'm looking at the goals for the FY23 and seeing that as a whole, and I'm a woman-owned business, that they didn't meet their goals, maybe I'll target that agency that did not meet their goals to provide a little assistance. So it's all about strategy for me. Go get in this game and have a strategy. What's also more exciting, this just came out last week, where the Senate passed this version for DoD contracts, where they're going to increase the sole source threshold from 4 million to 8 million. Sole source are contracts that are non-competitive. Did the church hear this? I'm not hearing the church loud enough. No compete. Do y'all have any questions? What's going on?
Can you repeat that?
We hear you.
Sole source, meaning because I'm a part of any one of these programs, except we'll talk about these, but specifically for the 8A. If I'm a part of the 8A program and I go to any federal agency, they can award a contract up to $4.5 million with no competition. That's how I grew so quickly. And what I'm saying here, this is even better for us because they are proposing to increase that 4.5 million sole source non-competition contract to $8 million.
So what constitutes when you say sole source, give an example of what it would look like to be a sole source.
To have a sole source contract?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I come into you, Miss DOD. I'm doing event planning. DOD say, oh, I like you. DOD say, I'm gonna choose you and just award this contract to you. It will never be on the street.
Got it.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, my next question is, what kinds of businesses? I know you said that you started out your personal life.
It doesn't matter. It's management consulting. It doesn't matter. That's how I grew my business.
Because I'm in health, I'm in healthcare, basically a provider. So that's why I'm on to see, because you say government, but sometimes you have to kind of dig through the haystack to find your niche. So that's why I'm wondering, you know, is it like specific kinds of industries?
Everybody's management consultant. It doesn't matter.
Miss Paula,
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I think she may be asking, and you can clarify me if
Uh-huh.
I'm correct, but I think she's asking, do you mean like with sole source? Is she asking about if you're 8A, if you're one-man business owned, if you are economically disadvantaged? I think she's asking about the certification pieces that sets you aside or sets you as those specifics. And is that, or at least that's my question, is that what you mean when you say that those are sole source type?
We'll go more into the sole source, but I think she was asking specifically about industry specific.
Okay,
It's more it's more industry specific, and I say that because I do own my own business as a healthcare provider. I am a speech language pathologist, but I'm also a healthcare consultant. So my question is, and I didn't want to get too specific, is as far as my interests, are there contracts that addresses or speaks to what my background and experience
It
has been
is.
in? Yeah,
It
okay.
It is, but again, what we teach you is not to pigeonhole yourself.
Right.
We was
And that's the beauty of what I'm hearing here.
yes. So
Yes.
you'll have a healthcare solution divisions, and under
Got
those
it.
divisions, you're gonna have pathologists, therapists, you can have any kind. The government
Got
buys
it.
everything. There's no
Got
need
it.
to pigeonhole yourself.
Very
Okay, well,
good.
that's
That's the tip of the iceberg. That's what I was listening and wanted to, is I'm like, I don't know if it really speaks to my last 40 some years in the business, because I'm ready to expand. And
Exactly.
like you said, I
Yeah.
don't want to be pigeonholed anymore.
No,
I need
ma'am.
to speak volumes to
No.
myself and to my abilities.
Your goal is managing the business. You are the CEO.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and that's awesome. So that helped me clarify as well then. Thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Okay. And this is what, again, what they're proposing. So we hope when we get a new president that this will go. That again allows you to grow. And what I tell a lot of business, certainly businesses are project driven. What we help you to do is shape a business model that's service driven. So you can get 5-year, 10-year contracts. So, every year you have, every month you got a steady revenue. You're not constantly chasing projects. And I'm going to get into that a little further. The 8A program, which I'll go into a little deeper, is a program to my heart. This is a program that I know creates generational wealth. Everybody up in DC were government contractors or part of this program. And I knew that based on the numbers. And I just pulled this report this year. They have almost 1,600 businesses in this program. So everybody in DC was a government contractor. I had wonderful role models going through those 6 Black-owned companies. When I left DC and went to Pennsylvania, and when I came here, I realized nobody outside of DC knew anything about these programs, just based on the number of businesses that are certified in SBA's program. When I look at the number of businesses in the state of South Carolina and North Carolina, I refuse to believe that there are no more than 46 Black-owned businesses in the state of South Carolina that can qualify into this program. Same thing with North Carolina. Here in Georgia, that number has increased to 233. But what I found here is that businesses from DC was coming here to win contracts. It's no competition. What's here? Why would people come here to win contract? What federal agencies are here in Georgia? Someone from Atlanta? What's a major federal agency here? Nobody knows. CDC? 5 military bases? No competition. Regardless of what state you're in, wherever there's a military base, where there's a federal courthouse, there's going to be a government contract. And I drew this, pulled this data, and we're going to visit this database shortly. so that you'll get a general idea of what knew was happening on the inside. And I knew no one was really getting these contracts. So what does this pie chart tell you guys? What does this data tell you?
So a lot to be uncovered. It's just,
Hmm?
that's only a small piece of the pie that people are getting access to.
We're not playing in the game.
Yeah,
At 0%.
right,
That's not good.
right. So
We
let me ask you a question in terms of, you mentioned healthcare, I'm sorry, you mentioned contract agencies in Georgia, and you mentioned two. So would the VA, which would be in just about every city or major city, is that considered to be a federal
Federal.
contract? Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
Government is huge.
Yeah. Got it.
And so that you could see who was really, where these companies, I pulled this report so that you could see the contracts, I mean, the people that were coming here and what state they were coming from, winning these dollars. And this boils down to the firms that were located here and who they were receiving contracts from. This right here is our $1 billion baby. She won a $1 billion contract, last year, managing USDA assets, real estate assets and foreclosed properties nationally. That's a 10-year contract. What she followed the blueprint. Told her when you start winning those contracts, use that money to buy a building. So she bought her a building this year. Now that's how we're creating generational wealth and legacy. Am I making sense to y'all?
Absolutely.
All right. SAM.gov is the database where they're going to send you to go look for opportunities. What I totally disagree with SBA's resource partners is they'll tell you to start locally, start at your state because you're not qualified to compete federally. The federal government have buys that are specifically for small businesses that are 250,000 and below. They are called RFQs. And you're not competing with as many people on a federal side. If you think of state and local contracts, you're competing with everybody in that area. So our goal is to teach you how to start at the top and go after some of the low hanging fruit that are 250 and below. As an example, this was an opportunity that came out last month from SBA. They needed marketing materials. This was the solicitation that they're looking for. Do I need to know anything about marketing materials, anybody? What would I do on this opportunity?
You
Find
would partner
somebody
with
that do.
someone who has that expertise.
You
You would partner with someone.
You're gonna subcontract. All you're doing is screening for the government. Just think of government contract as project manager. You're the broker, you're the middleman. You're finding either a subcontractor or the people for the government. So you're gonna get 3 vendors and send them this information, get their quotes on how much they would charge, and then you put your money on top of it. You're the project manager. Look, church quiet. Is this making sense to y'all?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
absolutely.
Yeah, it
Yes,
does.
yes, very
Yes.
helpful.
This is the low-hanging fruit. This is the low-hanging fruit. This is how we start out. That's run and done. I'm just gonna go ahead and deliver. They want this delivered to California, and this was delivered to Georgia.
I'm good. How you doing?
There's also another pool. This is how you
I had two of them.
hold on. This is how you look at what they are projecting for the future. That every agency will have a forecast. I like HUD because HUD updates their forecast every month. And you can go in, so now you can get in front of these opportunities, meaning you can start talking to them because they're telling you when they're going to forecast it, when they're going to post it and when they're going to award it. They're telling you how they're going to award it. If it's a small business, full and open, meaning it's open to everyone. Anything that's a new contract, I like new contracts because now I know I'm not competing with someone. And the government is always going to give you a point of contact. So if I know Adam right now have all these opportunities, I know Adam have all these opportunities. I want to start building relationships with Adam. That's the beauty of the government. Everything is public. Now, how do I get into this game? You can self-certify through this database. It's still the database where they post opportunities. I call it such a mess, but it stands for SAM, Systems for Awards Management, sam.gov. You can self-certify as a small business and you can self-certify as a small disadvantaged business. Although most agencies don't necessarily use this because once you're in this program, you're automatically classified as a SDB. The 8A program is a business development program. The HubZone program is designed for building communities. Women-owned is just what it is. Service disabled veteran-owned is just what it is. When I talk about this 8A program, this is a program to my heart because this is the only program that I know that is designed to help build your business for 9 years. The way they're allowing you to build your business is through these non-competitive sole source contracts. But what I tell businesses, don't get into this program until you've played on this outside. You've won some contracts as a small business. What I saw on the inside of SBA and servicing these businesses is that everybody told them to get this 8A certification. And as soon as they are accepted into the program, the clock starts ticking. And most of them don't win their first contract until their 4th or 5th year. You only have one time to be in this program. I want you to come in the program with guns, already understanding the game. Out of the 40 companies that I serviced here in Atlanta, only 4 or 5 was really winning contracts. So this is the game that we play. I have one of our students who followed the blueprint perfectly. She's got in, she's doing about 75 million in contracts now. 3 years ago, her son was leaving the military and he left as a service disabled vet. Get him started. He's 26 years old. Get his business started. Start subcontracting to him. She's trained him all up. She's getting ready to graduate this year. He's 3 years in his own business. She's been subcontracting. Now he can apply into the program. Now that's giving her family another 9 years to access to these sole source contracts. Her 23-year-old said, "Ooh, what are y'all doing?" I want to do this. So the 23-year-olds come through the program. She has her business. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying here? This
Yes,
is how
ma'am.
we create this generational wealth, train and hire our own. Are you hearing me?
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah,
Does
we
that
hear you.
make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Real estate. Do I have any real estate brokers online or agents? Okay. Because if you're a real estate agent, you have to change your industry code to get into this specific program. The Hub Zone program is based on where your business is located. As long as it's located in an area that's been designated as a Hub Zone and 35% of your employees reside in the Hub Zone, then that's where then you can apply into that program. Previously, the social disadvantage for the 8A program consisted of, if you're a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically qualified under the social disadvantage component. Because of the lawsuit, that we now have to write a narrative on how we've been traumatized and being Black in America. Don't worry about it. I got SBA people on my team, and we know what language and what passes the smell test. The economic component of it is your adjusted gross income cannot exceed 800 or your net worth cannot exceed $850,000. Minus any equity in your home and in your business. So if you have any real estate property, that the equity in the rental property counts against you. Any questions on this? If you have multiple entities, that becomes a heartache for me. And you have revenues coming through multiple entities. SBA is not going to allow you to apply into this program because you have to be full-time under your business. And if you have revenues coming under multiple entities, then they're not sure which master you're serving. Any questions? All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So let's just say if you had a LLC for quite some time, or even if it's like a holding company, like for rentals or whatnot, that would that still be a heartache if you're claiming on your taxes?
Will that still be what?
Still, would you still
Against
not?
you?
Yeah.
If you have a LLC with real estate under it, that's more of a passive pass-through. That doesn't give me heartache
Okay.
because you're not necessarily managing that entity. But if you got 3 or 4 entities going on, because in our community, we tend to have a great idea and then we open up an entity for that idea. And that's where my challenge becomes.
Okay.
All right, the Hub Zone program, there's no term limit. You recertify every year, and as you see in this program, you also get the opportunity of competitive and sole source program benefits. The difference between getting a sole source in this program, the Veterans Program, and the Women's Program is in order for the agency to award it as a sole source, they have to be assured that there are at least 2 businesses on that contract. And then they're able to award it to one of the 2. That's called the rule of 2. Whereas in the 8A program, that's not required because it's a business development program. And those contracts that are in the 8A program that are sole source will never be advertised. So that's how we help you create a strategy around those types of contracts. They also have a 10% price evaluation preference in this program, meaning the agency will add 10% on someone else's cost that's not a part of this program if you're competing on a Hub Zone contract. A full and open contract. Your principal office must be in the Hub Zone and 35% must live in the Hub Zone. It doesn't have to be the same place as your office, just as long as they reside in the Hub Zone. It's designed to build communities. This is the map. If you put your address in, it'll determine and let you know whether or not you are in the Hub Zone. I use this as an example. I put in the SBA's office where I used to work, and it's a hub zone, which is shocking because that's right there where all the high-end hotels are. Why do you think this is a hub zone, someone that lives here? Why would that area?
Because the homeless shelter is right down the street.
The homeless shelter is around the corner. So again, a lot of times hub zone doesn't have to be into the hood zone. The women's program is broken into two components, economically disadvantaged and the WOSB. Once you qualify as an ED, you're automatically a WOSB. The economically disadvantaged component of it is mirroring the 8A program. It's based on your net worth. They are streamlining all of these databases into one. I was trying to work with someone yesterday with this certification, and they still have a lot of bugs in it. This program has taken about 6 months for people to get approved. But it's a lot of bugs in what they're doing. I understand what they're doing, but it's a lot of bugs. For this program, again, there's 3 ways you can self-certify once this comes up. You can go through a third party. There is a fee associated with it. And for me, I prefer that you just do it yourself because all you're doing is providing the information to them and they're uploading it into their database. And you need to understand what you're uploading. The eligibility requirements, again, small business, all these programs require at least 51% ownership, hold the highest office. There's ways to get around full-time based on industry. No minimal amount of time do you have to be in business in order to apply into this program. Veterans program. Do I have any veterans online? The veterans program, again, is now transferred over to SBA. And again, there's no term limits. And again, the game is whatever certifications I don't have, I'm going to find somebody with that certification. I want to always have my bases covered. Again, this is some of the things that they're looking for. This is demonstrating that they transferred it from VA to the SBA. And there's a checklist. All of it is just paperwork. What I want to do shortly, I'm going to go to these websites so you can see a lot of the opportunities and what I'm trying to show you what's out there. A lot of times people get confused with all these certifications. When you look at the corporate, they require the MBE, WBE, and VBE. Federal, we just covered. For state certifications, those are DBEs. Based on your state, is managed by the Department of Transportation. If you have like in Philadelphia, it was SEPTA, and DC is Metro. Most of them will do the DBE certifications, and a lot of times you'll have local certifications. The reason I like and tell people to start at the federal, because here you never know who the players are and where the money is located. With the DBEs, you're always going to be a subcontractor. They don't allow you to be your own boss. Local, again, you're competing with a lot more people. Whereas here, I can be my own boss. There are costs associated when you use these other different types of vehicles. But again, most of the government programs are free. I want to go into these websites right quickly. I know we're coming up to 10:30, and if you all have to leave, I understand. For me, and this is something that we start in our very first session, Everybody wants you to go to sam.gov. And for me, it's very important that we start with the budget. Understand how that money is being flowed, how it's going to flow. So that helps you create a strategy. This is how you understand how the money is going to be spent each year, right? So when I look at these fact sheets, it's going to tell me, what does that mean? It's going to tell me how they're going to do it, but you know they're going to associate money with it, right? So right now they're saying 376 million to support initiatives under HHS. They're looking at 172 million to go to this agency. So it's understanding how the government is spending its money. Are you all with me? Does this make sense? We don't even look at this, or nobody has told us that it's even out there. Am I correct, everyone?
Amen.
Hmm? All right. Huh? So it's important that we understand how the government structure, and we just follow the money. That's why I say I don't get caught up on my skill set or my passion. We like to start businesses on the passion. When I look at this is one of my old supervisors. We all started doing at the same time. In the end, we all was doing the same thing. So what we help you to do is dress up and look like everybody else. Cut and paste. Because you fit in, or you know somebody that have the skill set to fit in, and that's how we're building our business model. Are y'all with me, right? So when I look at her divisions, does the services that she offers under here connect with anyone? Yes?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
indeed. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So create a business model that's based on who you know and different services. I don't have to know nothing about anything about IT or technology to win that contract. That's not my job. My job is to find the people with the skill set, and that's how I make my money as the CEO. Am I making sense?
Definitely.
Okay, this is Libra.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Yes.
is the 26, the one that had the 2 generations. These are her divisions, right? Her background started out real estate. We just broke out all the tasks associated with real estate and into division. Her very first contract was with CDC, testing monkeys in a lab with HIV.
Mm.
She just found all the people the same people that's been working on that one contract. She just picked them up. She hired them and made money. It was a $3.5 million contract. So hopefully you all are hearing me. Kareem, you had a
Yeah, you actually answered the question in showing this. So my question was, if you're delving into various areas and different niche areas, how would you then set up the website? And you're on it right now. So thank you for this visual.
Yeah, it's all perception. You don't know what size companies they are, right? You can't tell if this is one person or a 500 person. So this is how we help you dress up. This is Labrisha. Again, she started out in realty, but we didn't want her to pigeonhole herself. So she changed her name as part of our training to Dawson Management Consulting. And now these are the services that she's offering. All right. So does that make sense to everybody?
It does. I have a question. If you do a capability statement, then do you have all of these various things
Yep,
on the
you
cap?
sure do.
Okay,
You
all right.
sure do.
Okay.
I wanted to take you all to this website. This is another website that we teach you how to master. Once I got on the inside, I was like, oh my goodness, this is where all the dots come together. Anytime the government awards a contract or grants, this is where they're tracking your tax dollars. So it taxes everything that the government is spending on. So you can go into this database and begin to understand in your state or wherever what the government is buying. But I'm looking to see, okay, it had a janitorial contract that came out last year. I mean, that's expiring this year. It's a 5-year contract. I can go and look at the history of it and have a understanding of what they spent on that contract previously. So this is a very valuable tool. This is also, again, grants. So in this space, it's all contracts, right? I get a lot of nonprofits like, can I play? No, you can't play in this on contract side. When you look at nonprofits, it's geared, it's the same money. They take our tax dollars, right? Congress determines how it's going to be spent, and then it's split. Contracts and grants. Grants is to help the community. Contracts is to support the government. And for me, in the end, it's all about the taxes because I had a contract to process grant applications and I started seeing, oh, this is how that worked. So I opened up a nonprofit in my father's name. So I knew when I started making money on the contract side, guess what? I can dump it in the nonprofit as a tax write-off. And I also structured the nonprofit mission statement broad enough so if I wanted to get grants, I could. So now I have both sides of the pool. A lot of us, we tend to start on the on the nonprofit side, and that's too much. That's hard. Because you're always begging. No, use that like for a contract to support it. Use the nonprofit to benefit the community and your passion, but also getting the tax benefit. That's what this whole game is about. Do y'all not understand that? Y'all understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Here is a young lady, she started. I wanted to show you an example. This is the low-hanging fruit. She started with me in the program. This was one of the contracts that she won. This is the run and done, right? The government, you can see, started July, ended September. The government needed a 3-day meeting room, right? She negotiated with the hotel, $48,000. She put her bid at $104,000. She won. No competition. When you go down here and look further, it shows you. What do y'all see? How many offers received? One. No competition because there's not enough businesses competing. There's not enough businesses. And again, this is without any certifications. I hope y'all are hearing me.
We hear you.
Okay. Now, everybody always want to know, well, how do I make money? This is a contract I came in second on. It was a $33 million contract. It was a 5-year contract. In here, all of these are what they're called contingency hires. The government does not expect you to just have people sitting around waiting on contracts. So as long as you, again, pull the team together of the skill sets that's required to execute that contract, that's who you are submitting as part of your team. And I'm telling them this is how much I'm paying each position. It's a 5-year contract. Every year they're going to get a raise. The government understands it costs me to hire people. They're going to reimburse me for any fringe benefits. So my accounting system, that's why I'm telling folks you got to understand the games, need to be set up to capture this cost. So the government is going to reimburse me $155,000 for that first year, and accordingly each year for any fringe benefits I'm offering. The government's also going to reimburse me for my rent, my part of my salary came out, my overhead expenses. The next pool of costs is pass through. This is money coming in, money coming out. I had a subcontractor. And then there's another category they're going to reimburse me called G&A, or General Administrative Expenses. This is where, again, part of me and the partner's salaries came out. I had to hire a full-time bookkeeper. Her salary came out of here because I had a lot of travel. And then after everything is paid, this is what I would have taken home each year. My feelings get hurt every time I see this.
You mentioned reimbursed. Does that mean you have to come up with the money first?
Yes, ma'am. You're financing. That's why I tell you to start with the low-hanging fruit. They have micro buys. They have all different types of buys that are 25,000 and above. You can use this database to also search those types of buys. This is also how we also are showing you how to create a strategy around that first bullet. What do y'all see? What's the first bullet you see?
8A sole
8A
source.
sole
So-
source.
These are contracts that will never be advertised. So we teach you how to find those contracts that are expiring next year, connect with those companies that have those contracts that are graduating from the program, because they at least trying to keep some of it. They're going to lose it completely once they graduate. So we're helping you to strategically put yourself to get these 8A contracts based on whatever industry. All right. I've also created GPI with the sense of a community. We have 2,600 people in this database. And people are speaking the language. So if you're here in Georgia and you see a contract in California, you can call people that's gone through the program to connect with finding potential vendors. Collaborating is key. Any other questions on any of the programs before I start talking about our program?
And is this business search specific to GPI?
Yes. Yes. We should never ever have to leave home. That was my goal. And as I say, it's 2,600 people that's in here. All right. The GPI program. The program is broken into 3 modules. Oops. The program is broken into 3 modules: business ready, government ready, and contract ready. I created templates for each of these modules from our previous business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. By the time that you're through with the business ready module, we are showing you using templates on how to go after those buys that are 250,000 and below. The second module is all about collaboration and a marketing strategy. We put you into teams, and at this stage, we're the government because it's important for me that you learn how to work together. And at the end of this module, you're presenting to me as the government, as if I'm the government, and I'm going to critique you. It's important for me that you understand and practice on the inside before you get out there and don't know what you're really talking about, because it's still a small community. Everybody talks to each other on the other side as well. Contract Ready is all geared towards the 8A program and the All Small Mentor Protege program. I have a business plan that I know passes the smell test, because once you get into these programs, you have to submit a business plan. The next, we have an early bird special, and it's actually going to go to November 1st. $22.97 single rate. If you bring another team person in, it's $34.97. That's why I said put your information in the chat. Start learning how to collaborate. I'm still trying to give people the benefits of trying to make it cost effective for everyone. We meet every week from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Every week you'll have homework assignments, at least in the first module, lab assignments, have office hours to give you additional support. That's when all the cohorts come together, and I'm generally on the office hours as well. And then people who may need additional support. On Thursdays, we have lab sessions, and another young lady that assists people in completing their homework assignments. Again, we have all these templates that I've turned into from that first business, and it's just following the blueprint. We do have the self-paced. They 16 pre-recorded, and you still have access to the office in the lab sessions, and you still have to complete the homework. These are the deliverables, things that we'll be looking for when you complete the program in each module. Anybody have any question? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, is there like somewhat of another program that you do? Let's just say if I'm like, busy with life, being a new parent and work and whatnot, is there like a program where you could pretty much like hire GPI to kind of do the work for you? I mean, I know you have to do the work yourself, but like to, get you up and running and pretty much like is there one where you could kind of, hey,
I tend to make everybody, it's the same thing. People go, even a lot of the CEOs, they want to send their employees to do it. No, because you have to make decisions on your business. I can't make decisions on your business. You have to understand it. You got to get in the weeds of it. That's why we
tracking.
have it recorded. So even if you miss a class, you can come back. And we have the recordings, access to the recordings for 6 months after you complete the program.
Tracking. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, Ms.
And-
Paula. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I have a quick question. So are the courses, are they live or is everything like virtual?
It's not, it's virtual, it's online.
Okay, perfect. And then so you have the active that's online, and then you all are like on a Zoom call like this weekly.
Yes.
And then the pace is at your own pace on recorded versions.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah, and then if you, so I know you said that module 1 starts on November 11th.
Uh-huh.
Then how long are the modules?
It's 6 weeks for each module.
Okay, and then if you're not ready for the November 11th class, then you have to wait until the next one starts.
Yes, that'll be
Okay.
in January. Oh,
Okay.
January, end of February, January.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Okay.
Does this program only cover federal or does it also cover state?
It's all federal. And I play with the state. But once you learn the federal, it's the same process with the state and the local. Because most of them are receiving federal dollars, which means they have to abide by the same rules and regulation in the procurement process, state and local. They're using a lot of the same language.
Thank you. And one more question. And so your business ready module, is that to help you to develop the systems that are needed in order to support a federal contract?
Yes, that's helping you create a foundation that's not based on your skill set.
Thank you.
Okay.
One other question to Ms. Paul, I'm sorry. So this program, does it include all 3 components of the
Yes.
program? Okay.
Yes.
And then, okay, perfect. All right, awesome.
Isaiah, it's been on. It's been a while. Hi, Isaiah. My number is still the same. Isaiah started with me back in 2017 as a catering, and we converted that business model to management consulting. How you doing, Isaiah? You're
Hey,
in.
yes, ma'am. I'm doing great. I've been listening, but I'm out here doing some charitable work in the cornfield, fresh corn. So I wish I was close by. I would give you plenty. But I'm doing well. It's time for me to refresh because things have changed, and I want to just say thank you
All right.
for all that you've done and everybody that's on here. Hey, stay with it because everything she's saying is true and very true. Yeah.
And it's intense. Everybody, like you're going to masters.
Oh, yeah. And just be ready for class when she asks you.
And your homework.
That's right, your homework. What's your take? What did you get? And you're going to have some aha moments. So, yeah. Green light. But you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, give me a call when you get a chance. And
yes, ma'am, I will.
Can I give 3 takeaways and I'm gonna let everybody go?
Yes.
Can I get 3 takeaways?
I can start. My takeaway was I didn't realize that the sole sources were like the gems. So when you said that, I had heard of sole source before, but not in the manner in which you explained it. So that opened up my eyes. And like he was saying, that was my aha moment today.
Very good. Anybody else?
I have a takeaway.
Yes, ma'am.
You are training us for generational wealth. And I am on board with it and I'm ready to start. But I got one question. If we start the online, the self-paced, we can start it at any time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Well, I can say one of the major takeaways, this is all new to me, is that with the sole source, it is not competitive. So it's always, I wouldn't say, and maybe you can clarify, it's almost a guarantee if you put in what's needed to position yourself for those contracts.
Yeah, it's building relationships. That's how I grew so quickly on sole source. I never really, well, I did compete on those, but I was competing with somebody that already had the contract. So it's teaching y'all the game. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just fell in with what everybody else is doing. And things like that I'm showing you guys, nobody else is going to show you how to put that cost proposal together. That's proprietary information. Yeah, well, I hope you all become a part of the GPI community. Thank you again for allowing me to serve you this morning. And prayerfully, you took something away from it. And understand that we are the game changers for the children's children. All right?
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Dana,
Real
you have.
quick,
Mhm.
One
we,
question, Ms. P, really quick. With the self-paced portion, do we still are we still allotted one-on-one sessions as well?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay.
No, ma'am. That's a lot of you trying to make me work really, really hard. No.
Okay.
yes,
Mm.
if you'd like a copy of this, and I will send it out of this recording, be sure to put your email address in the chat. If you want to collaborate with somebody, here's your chance to put your phone number in there, talk to somebody, and become a team member and take advantage of that team discount. But you have to do this like right now because we're getting ready to shut it down.
Okay.
Okay, wait, give us a few minutes. Hold on.
Yeah.
Your cleaning queen, we're gonna change your name there. We gonna be your facilities management, Miss
Okay.
Britt and Janatoria. Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna change your name there.
Okay. Okay. It's great to see everyone. And be sure to well, you got the information, and I will email the recording and the flyer, and then you can pass it on and take notes. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now, iPhone 151, what's your name?
Okay, I believe that's me showing up. My name is Reginald.
Okay, Reginald. Okay, I see you. Reginald Ellison. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you all
Okay.
so much. This is awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Williams. Always
Thank
when
you,
I
thank
see a
you.
Williams, I'm like, that's my cousin.
Absolutely. That is generational.
Exactly.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Okay, everyone has all the information.
You know, also too, I'm sorry, I think I may have two, Ms. Dean, I may have two emails. Well, I have one email that comes up as a Gmail that I signed up with, but in the chat, I put in a Yahoo.
Okay.
So I'm okay with either one. The Yahoo definitely, but if you see my Gmail in the registration, I'm okay if it comes to either one.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
for
so
that
much.
heads up. Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you.
guys.
Okay. I just realized that.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we're shutting it down. Stay smart, stay sane. God bless you. And if you haven't already done so, vote.
God bless you all too. Thank you so much for the information. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Okay, bye for now.
Thank you.